Hey guys, Mobile Glass here. We're going to do windshield repair. We got a little star break right here. This is a Jeep Rubicon, as you can tell. And we're going to get started. I have the mirror set up. The glass is clean. It was raining, so I did heat it up to get the moisture out of the cracked area. Now we're going to drill right where the rock impacted. I'll show you one more time, that little white spot. So we're going to drill right in there. We have a Dremel drill, small Dremel drill with a glass bit. We'll drill right there where the rock impacted that crushed area, and I'll show you the next step after I get that cleaned up here. Alright, now you can see all the crushed glass from drilling went right in the center there. Now we just drilled through the exterior layer of the glass. It's laminated glass, so we have glass on the outside and on the inside. And in between, it's glued to a layer of plastic. So we just drilled barely through the outside layer. It just allows the resin to flow a lot easier into the crack. So I'll show you the next step. We'll get the bridge assembly set up to be able to put resin into the windshield itself, into the cracked area. Now, resin, you can think of it like liquid glass. It's just going to be like a liquid glass or glue that will force into the cracked area. It will displace the air that's in the cracks and fill it up with glue, and then we'll harden it with UV light. So let's get started on that step now. Alright, so as you can see, we lined the injector, this end, right over where we drilled. And then this side we have a stabilizer, just kind of holds the piece still, and of course the suction cup. So at this point we can use the resin. We'll put a few drops in there, and then there's a plunger that screws down in there, and we'll force through pressure, because it's nice and sealed against the surface of the glass here. We'll put pressure on it and force that liquid resin into the cracked area. So we'll show you that step here in a moment. Let me get it set up. Alright, now we have the resin under pressure. I'm going to see if we can get an angle on it to watch the resin flow into the cracked glass. Those little lines coming from it, that star break, it'll actually start to diminish those lines. It'll be much more difficult to see the damage once the resin flows through the crack. So I was trying to catch that in real time, but because we're in a dark area, it is difficult. So I'll pause it here. We're going to give it a good 5-10 minutes to flow through the crack, and then we'll start on the next step. So, alright, now that the resin has had time to work its way through, we are applying UV light. So the UV light will cause the resin to harden. Of course, it will harden slowly over time, but the UV light expedites the process. There's no way for air to get to it, so it's designed to harden with that light. So we'll leave the light on there for a good 10 minutes, and then we'll move on to removing the bridge, the light, and we'll be left with a little hole where we drilled, or where the rock first hit, and we'll be able to fill that in with a thicker, heavier resin. We call that, losing my train of thought, pit filler, the thicker pit filler resin, and that'll hold the entire damage together a lot better than the thin resin will. So it'll hold up over time. You won't get streaking with the windshield wipers and so forth, and it'll just make it look better. Alright, it looks similar, but you can see the bridge is gone, and there's a little square piece of plastic there. And I'm not sure if you can make it out, but there is pit filler resin underneath that plastic. We use the Mylar film like that to keep the pit filler resin from dripping down the windshield, so it just holds it in place. And then again, it hardens with the UV light, so we put the UV light on it another 5 minutes and allow that to harden. Once that's through, we'll have somewhat of a mound of resin right on the surface of the glass. So we'll use a straight edge razor blade, just common razor blade, and we'll smooth that out just so that what's left is the pit filler right where the rock hit, or where we drilled. And that little spot won't be as clear as the rest of the glass, so we'll use some pit polish, and we'll polish it up, and it will make it a little bit more invisible, or diminish the appearance of where the repair was. So it makes it look nicer. Alright, now besides cleaning up the glass, we're at the last step. We have a blob there, if you will. That's the pit polish, sort of like wax. We're going to massage that right into the glass where the resin is left, and then we'll be able to clean it up. So we should be done here in just a second, and we'll show you the final product. All right, we're all finished. So let's see if we can make out where the damage was. Mostly just where we drilled, and from the inside it does make it much more difficult to tell once it's been repaired, but it is still visible. Just got to catch it at the right angle there. There we go. So you have watched us save this Jeep Wrangler Rubicon's windshield. If you guys need help with windshield repair replacement, just give us a call. 512-240-9121. Thanks for watching.